Blog Talk Radio.
Stone Guardian, Crystal Keeper, Gem Lovers and Rock Hounds. Welcome to There's a Rock for That.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the premiere episode of There's a Rock for That. I'm your host, Mary Brown. And this is, for those of you who may have thought, wow, that sounds familiar. Yes, it is. We're bringing this show back. This is a show that I did, years ago. I want to say, did about 2014, 2015, 2013, around in there, and had so much fun. And we brought back the Tarot Today show on the Psychic Talk Radio Network here, and I thought, man, I'm going to bring back my old show, There's a Rock for That. And so here we are. And for those of you who are new to the show, let me tell you a little bit of what it's about. This is a show where we're going to explore the metaphysical properties and healing applications of the stone people. So crystals, gems, rocks, whatever you want to call them, whichever ones you feel connection with or relate to, we're going to be discussing them all the time. And since this is a monthly show, we will feature a select crystal of the month every month. And just a quick note about that, okay, I am not one that's really into all the birthstone charts, okay? I really kind of feel like, okay, if I worked in the jewelry industry, I'm sure that would be very important, and so it's not. We can pay attention to that. And that being said, if you resonate with a particular birthstone, there's nothing wrong with that. It really doesn't matter how we connect or, how we get introduced to them. But, yeah, for me, birthstones are not a big deal. So, quick little information about the network. We are on the Psychic Talk Radio Network, and we feature several different shows every week. And later in the show, at the bottom of the hour, I'll go over what's coming up on the network. This is also a live call-in show. The call-in number is 714-816-4628. Again, that number is 714-816-4628. If you want to call in to talk about crystals, or you have a question, or even if you want a mini reading, because yes, we will do readings on this show. Now, let's talk about that a little bit. The readings on this show are going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to be doing crystal readings. Now, I can also do crystal card readings. I have several crystal oracle decks, but basically I'm going to be using my own system of drawing crystals and using crystal dice. And I thought what would also be kind of fun is, I have to tell you, I'm having so much fun with this thing. I got this really cool oracle. It's called the Wheel of Life, the Rota, R-O-T-A, and this was created by Giordano Berti of Rinascimento, which means Renaissance in Italian. It's an Italian company that sells tarot decks and a lot of historical decks. I mean, they're just amazing. And Giordano Berto is an incredibly well-respected tarot scholar, and he developed this really cool little oracle tool, which is the Wheel of Fortune. And what it is this wheel that has a representation of the Fool with a butterfly in the center, and you spin it, and it lands on one of the major arcana cards in answer to the question you're asking about. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of work with that and roll the crystal dice and do that for readings and kind of give you a different, kind of divinatory experience. And, another thing, too, that I love about this show is that it's experimental, okay? That I really like to work with crystals in a variety of ways. I love to hear from experiences, so definitely call in, to share your own especially experiences and stories about crystals that are special to you and really what they've done for you. And that's the thing that really, it brought me to create this show way back when, I want to say 2013, 2014, when I first came up with a concept. And at that time, there was a lot of, different apps, software applications for mobile devices were becoming really popular. And so the expression, there's an app for that, was everywhere. Everybody was using it all the time, and I thought, wait a minute, there's a rock for that. So, yeah, shout out to the apps. Yeah, that's kind of where the title for the show came from. But, the real reason I wanted to do this show was at that time, and then, continuing onward until today even, I was, working with crystals in a way to really try to determine like what the effects were. I mean, it's one thing to get a book about crystals or to go to a metaphysical shop and somebody tell you, hey, this stone is good for you, it does this, that, and the other thing. But how do we really know unless we really start working with them and experimenting with them and logging our progress? That's one thing I do recommend to everyone who's interested in working with stones and getting into it, is not just to buy a bunch of different stones and let them just sit there, right? Because you could do that too. They're gorgeous to look at and wonderful to decorate with, right? But actually, like, work with them. Try them. If you have a headache, try a piece of amethyst on your forehead, or malachite, or whatever stone that you got that's supposedly good for a certain symptom that you have, or a life issue that you're dealing with. Really work with the stone and try it, because otherwise you're really not going to know if it works for you or not. And the reason I say that is because, across the board, right, there are all kinds of different things that stones are said to work for. And you find, there are thousands upon thousands of members of the mineral kingdom, right? And so you find a lot of different stones. A lot of different stones might be good for the same thing. They may help you with the same thing, like your psychic abilities, or working on spiritual advancement, whatever that might mean for you, or trying to get organized. So you have a plethora of different stones that are said to be good for the same issues or the same kind of situations. And why is it that some stones seem to really do the trick for some people, and yet that same stone doesn't seem to work for you, or doesn't seem to work for other people? And I have some theories on that. And my theory is because we are all different. We are all individually a little bit different. And how are we different? Well, we can see that in the ways in which we're different when it comes to our interactions with others and the behavior of people. But I think that also internally we're different. I think internally our chemical makeup is a little bit different. And what I mean by that is, some people may be deficient in a certain mineral, like, say, calcium or, say, magnesium. And somebody else may not be. And so when you look at crystals, I'm just asking that you not just consider the outside of the crystal or the name of the crystal or the metaphysical properties of the crystal, but really look at what the chemical content is, what the internal lattice structure is like, and get to know what it's made of, because it's made of a lot of the same chemicals. So many stones contain the same minerals that we contain in our body. So someone who is deficient in something, they may feel a real strong effect from a stone if they're using it for a healing application, whereas somebody else with that same stone who doesn't have that same mineral deficiency may not really notice much of a difference. So that's my own pet theory on why the same stone doesn't work the same for everyone. So, something to keep in mind, and that's why I think it's important to experiment with stones. And so let's first, I see some people on the switchboard there. I'm going to start taking calls in a short time here, but first I wanted to talk about the card of the day. So if you haven't yet, please join our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group. You can find it really easily by going to Psychic Talk/Facebook, or you can look for Psychic Talk Radio while you're on Facebook. And in that group every day, I post a different card of the day. And today's card is from the Crystal Reading Cards by Rachel Sharman, and the illustrations in it are done by Chayote Carter. They're just gorgeous, and they're illustrations of crystals combined with photographs that were taken for the most part by Matt Walker. I think he's from Australia, a photographer in Australia. But Prehnite is the stone, and the message is trust. And Prehnite is this beautiful kind of opaque with a bit of white in it, like green stone, often associated with the heart chakra. And what this card is really saying is that it may be time to start trusting on a deeper level. We live right now, we live in such a crazy world. There's so many different and illusions, and it can be challenging to trust what's going on around you, and sometimes even difficult to trust what's going on within us as well. And so with all that uncertainty, we've got to find a sense of trust, even if it's just trust in the flow of the universe. And more importantly, trust in yourself, okay? Trust that you will make the right choices that will be for your highest good and in your best interests. And, allow things to unfold knowing that you're going to make the right decisions. So that is the message for the day. And also, our crystal of the month happens to be Prehnite. And so let's talk a little bit about Prehnite, and then we'll take some calls. And again, if you want to get in the caller queue, there's still a bit of room in there. The call-in number is 714-816-4628. Also, I should mention that you can also join us in our chat room. Questions in there. I'll be checking on the chat room shortly. You can find it by going to thetarotguild.com/chat. And you want to click on the main room in there, and I'm sure you'll find other people that are there from the Tarot Guild and be able to pose questions, and I will be looking in the chat room to see if anybody is asking questions in there or wants a mini reading from the chat room as well. So let's talk a little bit about Prehnite, and then we'll take some calls, and we'll check out the chat room, and then we'll take it from there. Lots of good stuff coming up. So again, Prehnite. For people that that aren't familiar with stones and are wondering how to spell it, it's spelled Prehnite. It's green. It can be kind of yellow, white, brown. Those are the colors that you might see it in. It's pretty easy to obtain from crystal stores or even some metaphysical stores. You can find it online as well. Usually it's sourced from South Africa. And what is it known for, right? Well, it's known as a stone of unconditional love. Remember, it's associated with what I think is really important, especially these days, is that it is thought of as a crystal that heals the healer. So if you consider yourself a healer, like an energy healer, maybe you're a Reiki master, or you're practicing, pranic energy healing. There's so many different types of healers out there. Prehnite might be a good stone to have on hand. Okay, and also it can help you with the visualization process, right, and help you with meditation. And that's the one thing I hear so much from people that or say that they're having difficulty meditating is that a lot of times they will be trying to meditate via listening to like a guided meditation or guided visualization, and they have difficulty visualizing. So maybe if you are holding a piece of prehnite, that might assist you with that, okay? And what's really interesting too is like this is one of the stones, right, that a lot of people feel can easily really put you in touch with the universe's energy and help you to connect, especially, with the angels, but especially with Archangel Raphael and to other spiritual and even extraterrestrial beings as well, okay? Because it also enhances precognition, or, when you just feel something, and also your inner knowing. It's a stone that really helps you attune to divine energy, and it's one of the stones that's said to enhance your ability to prophesize, and just on a personal level shows you the way forward with your own spiritual growth. So it's wonderful for all kinds of things. And also the thing that I think is so unique about it in some ways is that it seals the auric field in a protective shield of energy, right? So, so many people are concerned about their aura being violated, really, in a way, that, there's all this kind of stuff that's getting like shoved into their auric field. And so prehnite is great for that, because not only, is it known to seal the auric field in a protective shield of divine energy, but also it's great to like hold it and visualize it and see that shield of light spreading around you, and keep it in your pocket, or, wear a piece as a necklace or in a ring. It's wonderful for that. It's also a great stone for gritting. And, so why? So like if you have your room set up with you want to put a crystal grid in there, it's really great because it calms the environment and it kind of gives a sense of peace and you feel protected. And it's also a great stone for placing in the garden to help things grow and stay healthy. So there's a lot of terrific, applications for prehnite. One thing that's interesting, we called it the stone that heals the healer, and that's because it's thought to be really useful for diagnosing, enabling you to kind of get to the root cause, like what is it that's really bothering me, what's underneath the feelings and the thoughts that I'm having that may be unwanted. And so with that, being able to address the root cause. The the other ways in which it can help with that is that it can help by uncovering like what is at the root of our fears and what's at the root of if you're somebody who suffers from nightmares. Um, usually there's a reason why, right? And pray night can help us cause of it. And so how do you use it? You can hold it like, okay, if you're interested in, working with it to help with your meditation, to help with visualization, or even, your psychic abilities, or you want to, get into prophesizing, get into prophecy, the third eye is a terrific place to place pray night for those things. And so that's another thing is, we talk about it being a heart chakra stone, right? But that doesn't mean that that's always where you're going to place it. Okay? So you have to kind of think of like, what is the issue that I want this stone to help me with? And this applies not just to pray night, but to all stones. What is the issue that I want it to help me with? And so where should I put it? If it's a stone that you want to use for communication, even if it's associated with another chakra, traditionally, try placing it on your throat chakra. So we've got to, again, this is experimental. We're experimenting with the different ways to work with them and seeing, what effects that they may have and how that changes things for us. And so journaling is a wonderful, wonderful way. Like even if it's just like a little notebook, write it down, put the date down, what it was you were addressing, what stone you used, and, what effects did you see? And one thing I should mention though is that sometimes when we work with crystals, the effects can be rather subtle, or maybe they take a little bit longer to manifest, right? So you put the pray night on your third eye, and you may not immediately, get a vision of what's to come, okay? But you start doing that on a regular basis, then that may start happening. Or that may start happening a few days later, or a couple of weeks later. This is a subtle healing process. Crystals can work very subtly. It's not like popping a pill, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. You can't hold it for 20 seconds and say, well, it's not doing anything. You need to spend time with it. You need to, make an investment of your time and interest and energy. So that is pray night, our stone of the month. And my gosh, I've been talking forever here. So why don't we go ahead and see who's out there and who would like to be on air with us. And our first call is area code 917. Area code 917. Caller, are you there? Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Terry, and I'm calling from New York.
Carrie, did you say, from New York?
Yes.
Hi, what did you want to talk about today?
Just wanted to see if I can do a quick general, or should I just ask a question in one area? Well, I know what I want to ask.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go for it. No problem.
Okay, within 2 years, because I did a reading on this before and I totally forgotten all about it. So I did a reading once when someone explained to me, I see you adopting a child within a year, and I totally forgot about the whole situation. So recently I've been having visualizing this little girl. I think she's about 2 now, but if I were to step in, she would be anywhere between 3 or 4. Just wanted to see what you pick up on that.
On adopting a child?
I would say adopting a child, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at that. All right, well, let's roll the crystal dice. and we'll spin the wheel. We'll see what comes up with this. Okay, wow. You know, here's the thing that's kind of interesting, right? You know, I use seven dice that I roll, right? And they're like regular dice. They've got, you know, the numbers 1 through 6 on them, right? 5 out of the 7 dice came up with the number 6. Okay, that's crazy. All right. And the thing about the number 6 to me is that it has a sense of generosity to it and harmony. It's a really good number, you know. Not that numbers are good or bad, but like for me, they kind of are, you know. So
okay.
Sixes are terrific. And the areas in which we have the number 6, we've got some really interesting things going on here. So we've got a number 6 clear court, right? So, you know, the thing that says to me, the message of that is like, look, if you want to make this happen, you can. It's an amplifier. So it's putting a lot of energy behind this, right? And it also brings the information that we need into the open, okay? So I feel that, like, to happen, that, you know, there's going to be some things made clear to you, and more than just getting, like, you know, the kind of visions that you're seeing and stuff. I think you're going to start getting more information connected to that. And then the other thing that comes up here that's really interesting is that the tiger eye also came up as a 6 as well. So, you know, that really encourages, like, the practical side of things. So, you know, adopting a child, there's a lot of things to do, right? And it talks about balance. You know, balance is necessary for this. And, you know, everything looks great with these 6s rose quartz. It shows, you know, this sense of love and nurturing and all of that. And the red jasper comes up as a 6 as well, talking about, okay, you know, again, you know, that practical, we gotta kind of you know, do some things to accomplish this, right? But it's also a message that there's nothing hidden about this process, you know. So I don't feel like this is something that you might approach and enter into and then later get negative surprise, like, oh wait, they didn't tell me this, right? Red Jasper 6 is saying, like, don't worry about that. And you know, even obsidian as a 6 is really interesting too, because it talks about how this would be like kind of a really helpful, like, release for you when it comes to shifting your life in such a way that there's no, like, remnants of things that, you know, are don't fit for you anymore or aren't serving you well anymore. I think that, you know, it's really a sign that, like, wow, you know, were you to, you know, go this way and make it, it's a big life-changing decision, adopting a child, you know. But that brings, like, all this really positive energy. And then, you know, the other thing that comes up is green aventurine. I rolled a 3 with that, and it talks about children specifically, okay, and nurturing.
Okay.
So that's pretty wild. So the only thing, though, all of that great energy, and then the only thing that comes up is a 5, and to me a 5 is like, well, okay, here's the challenge in it, right? And the challenge in it is going to be to, like, one, keeping things in balance, right? And 2, prioritizing. So I would say that one side, everything's saying, like, you know, this is great. And this idea of this little girl that you're seeing, I feel like, you know, a lot of this is being confirmed, right? But that 5 amethyst, where it's saying, like, okay, we have to also think, like, am I ready for this? We're going to have to really shift our priorities for that. So, you know, I think, like, take some time think about it, explore. I think if you start, really trying to make it happen, I think it'll be a pretty smooth process for you with no negative surprises. So, just some things to think about, okay?
Okay. I'm laughing about it. I have to write it down because I'm always so busy, but I do remember, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when they had the reading, and it was about 7 months ago, and I forget all about, this particular reading that I had. And then about a week or two ago, I started visualizing the same little girl again. So, okay. And then I
There's
just
a
took up
reason.
different images. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a reason it's coming up for you, and it definitely is a lot to think about, But,
Yes.
Should you choose to go that route, and you can get your priorities straight enough to, make room for a child, I think it could be an incredibly, wonderful thing for you. Okay?
Yes, exactly. Okay, sounds good.
Thanks so much for calling.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
All right, that was a cool call from Carrie in New York. Carrie in New York, it's like, reminds me of Sex in the City, right? Carrie. All right, well, let's see who else is out there on the airways, and then we'll take a quick peek in the chat room. And our next caller in line here is 760, area code 760. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Good. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Jeanette, and I'm calling from California.
From California. So what did you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I guess the way to narrow down all the thoughts in my head is to ask about my next steps in shifting the trajectory of my life. And one of that, for me, is I need to move. And I'm just wondering if I'm staying local or if there's another path in my destiny.
Okay. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to spin the wheel here and see what comes up, the Wheel of Fortune. And what do we have here? And you're wondering about a move, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting about this is that, we actually come up on the Lover's card. So it's about choices, And, if there's any relationship connected to the move. But, the main thrust of that is about choice. So I feel that, like, maybe you're going to have a few more options than you're expecting for this. And you're asking, like, okay, I need to move, but is it going to be like a local move across town, or am I going further away? Right, that's the main question. And I'm going to just roll the dice on that and see what comes with the, oh, my gosh. Okay, so here's the thing. Again, and this is just wild it's happening, but 5 of the dice are the same number, and it's the number 4.
Wow.
Okay, so the number 4, what's 4 about? It's about stability and structure. And I feel like it's not about a big, huge move far, far away. I feel like this is staying like closer to home, but it's really about where you kind of have a stable environment where it's like set up so that you can function at your best, if that makes sense. No chaos. We don't need any chaos, okay? And none of these dice are indicating chaos. We do have a 1 that comes up, and it's a rose quartz 1. And what that says to me is that, this is, in a lot of ways, this is about being able to, so funny, rose quartz, it's just popping into my head. It's like she needs to reduce the aggravation and the stress and feel that, she loves where she's at. And that you can be at your most sensitive and most open, and that this is really about, needing, you said changing the trajectory of my life, and I feel like this is about like having a new chapter where, guess what, you're number one. Your well-being, your happiness is, and your ability to function well, and getting rid of like the aggravation. So I think it's remarkable that the 5 out of 7 dice are the number 4, and it really gives me the feeling that you're not. This isn't like a big, traveling far, far away. It's really just like needing that good environment where you can really function, and stability, okay, and structure. Both of those speak to the idea of like houses and buildings, right? And so that idea of like it being like a solid foundation and well built comes up with that as well. So I hope that helped you. The only other number that comes up here is the number 2. Were you thinking of doing this anytime soon?
Yes.
Okay. Like a couple months? Are we looking already for places?
No, like a couple weeks.
Couple weeks? Okay. Okay. Because the number 2 comes up with that. And the clear quartz number 2 is really about when things like really come into focus and we get that clarity that, something around that number 2, maybe a couple weeks, no more than 2 months, it's like we're going to be able to see it clearly where it is we're going. So I hope that helps you, and thanks so much for calling.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
You too.
All right. What a cool call. Okay, so it is already a little bit past the bottom of the hour here, so I guess I should talk about what's coming up on the network, and then we'll take a look at the chat room and see who's there and if there's any questions in there. But first off, on the Psychic Talk Radio Network this week, we have a lot of fun stuff going on, starting with tomorrow, March 8th, Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget Daylight Savings Time tomorrow. We're going to spring forward an hour if you're living in an area affected by daylight savings time. And I'll be on tomorrow talking with the amazing Sharona Rapsick on her show, The Magic Universe. So I'm really excited. It's the first time that I've had a chance to guest on Sharona's show. And again, Sunday, March 8th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, Magic Universe show with host Sharona Rapsick. And then on Monday, March 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, it's the Wisdom of the Soul show with your host, Janice Fuchs. And that will be followed at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, with a Compassionate Light Healing and Guidance show with your host, Catherine Hahn. She will be talking about reclaiming your power. And then after that, on Friday, March 13th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, the doctors are in with host Dr. Rose Wilkerson and Dr. Dax Carlisle. And their topic is expecting luck on Friday the 13th. Ooh, we have a Friday the 13th coming up. I got to tune into that and see what they say about it. And on Saturday, next Saturday, March 14th, I'll be back for the Tarot Today show with my co-host Dax Carlisle, doing open lines all show long and tarot mini readings. And we will be talking about a fun topic, tarot keywords, friend or foe. I'm going to tune into that to see what we think about it. I can't wait to hear what Dax's thoughts on that are. And those are the upcoming shows on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. And you can easily find that if you forget all the ones that I listed off there by going to psychictalk.net/upcoming. You can see all of our shows there, when to tune in, all of that good stuff. All right, so let's go over to the chat room here and see what's going on. And hello, everybody in the chat room. I see Dax. I see Rini. I see Sharona. Awesome. Sharona says, I love crystals. So great to learn about Prey Night. It's a new stone for me. It's always wonderful to discover new things. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's show, too. It's going to be so much fun. And yeah, and Dax Carlisle says, yes. Oh, this is interesting. Daylight savings time actually him, because even though they don't move their clocks in Arizona, the shows are all on an hour earlier. Daylight savings time. It's like, thanks a lot. Who? Ben Franklin? Didn't Ben Franklin come up with that? Anyways, so, all right. Well, let's see. We've got more calls on the line, and we have some time left. We have time to take at least one more call here, and let's see who the next caller is. Looks like area code 256. Area code 256. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Kimberly Ford, and I'm calling from Tucker, Georgia.
Kimberly from Georgia. Awesome. So what did you want to talk about, Kimberly?
Well, the reading show. Is it a reading show? Can I ask a question, or is it? Oh,
yeah, we're doing all kinds of stuff. Just go for it, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to hear from angels or spirit in reference to my next job opportunity. I'm looking now. Yeah.
Okay, and you want to know, kind of how that search is going to go? Are you going to find something good? What are we seeing about that? What advice is there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just, spin the wheel and roll the dice and see what the universe has to say. And the first thing that comes up, this is terrific. The first thing that comes up is a strength card, So I think, you're going to be successful. The strength card, is really a wonderful card to come up on something like that, whatever my next job opportunity is going to be. The thing about strength is interesting because there's a little bit of strategy involved with it, right? That we've got to kind of balance a bit when it comes to how diplomatic we are, key factor, that there's going to be that need to handle things maybe in a, it's a balance between force and gentleness, right? So it's you want to appear like somebody who's got the energy to do the job and is very interested in all gung-ho, and at the same time, you might bump up across people in your job search where maybe they kind of rub you the wrong way, or they might say something that you're like, huh? What? So you don't want to address it on a job interview necessarily. So, and I'm sure you know those things, but I think that strength is a great sign to come up, and let's just see what comes up when we roll the crystal dice. How does this look? All right, 3 6s, so very good. The thing that's interesting to me is it shows good news, coming up with those. In the area of especially being able to find a job where there's good pay, okay? Because we have a green aventurine as a 6, and with the amethyst stone coming up as a 6 as well, that's terrific because it talks about really being focused and being able to avoid any sort of pitfalls in your job search. So that's good. And Six with Rose Quartz is like really interesting because it's talking about like, are we just looking for a job, or are we looking to do something that we really like connects with us on the heart level, something that we love,
yes.
something that resonates,
yes.
right?
Something that
you know,
resonates with me. Yes, yes.
yeah. And so, I think that that's a good sign that that's going to be, something that you're going to find. Now, and we got 2 3s that come up here too, and that's with our tiger eye and our black obsidian stones. So what that says to me is that, have confidence. You want to take a practical approach, of course, but you also want to like have confidence when you start this search, when you go on interviews, when you approach people. And the other thing about tiger eye is that often it's talking about the idea of accepting help and advice from other people as well. So it may be something where you find kind of the perfect position through the help of others. All right, so just something to keep in mind. And then black obsidian is really interesting as a 3 because to me, 3s are about creativity and, networking and working with people. And with the obsidian in particular, it's saying that like you could really find that this goes pretty quickly, that you may be thinking of this like, okay, I'm, going to go on this job search trying to find something that really resonates with me, that I'll be doing something that I care about, and it could happen like right away. Okay? So don't be surprised. That's not a bad thing, right? And then the only area where I see like, okay, any sort of difficulty, and that comes from like getting organized. So here's the thing is like, when we're searching for a job, we're kind of like throwing everything out there and just seeing like, what can we find? And this is saying like, take an organized, focused, methodical approach. And it's going to happen quickly, and you're going to find something that really resonates with you and that is going to be also, not bad at all when it comes to the money aspect, because we got that 6 green aventurine. So there you go. The only other thing that comes up with this is red jasper came up as a 2, and so red jasper again, is talking about there being a need to, kind of not waste time or effort. And so to me that connects to that idea of like staying focused and staying organized with your job search. Okay? All right.
I just want to tell you all the crystals that you named I have and have
Yay!
been using.
I love it. I love it.
I have yellow jasper. But all the stones you named, I was like, And I wore those because I wear them in my bra. So I wore those most of the week.
I love it. Oh, red jasper is a good one to work with. See, and usually if it's easy to find, great root chakra stone helps us stay grounded and down to earth, and really good for focusing on what we need to focus on. So, I'm so happy to hear, though, that you have all those stones. I love it. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
You have a good weekend, too. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. All right. That was so much fun. All right. Okay. Let me go back over to the chat room here and see what else we have going on. Everybody's having so much fun in there. And again, if you haven't joined the Tarot Guild yet, you need to join. The free. It's fun. It's like Facebook for people into tarot. And you can find that by going to thetarotguild.com. And you can sign up, and we have these chat rooms, and that's where our chat rooms are located for all of our shows. And see what else. Oh, also, I wanted to say, like, our Saturday shows are I think our Saturday and Friday shows are both sponsored by the Tarot Guild. And if you haven't joined it, you should join it. There's no reason not to join it. So, we're coming to the end of the show here pretty quickly. I wanted to mention just a few more things here, and that is that one, like I said, this show's experimental. We're going to be discussing all different kinds of ways to work with crystals. We will be featuring a different crystal every month, and I encourage you to check out the crystal of the month if you're not familiar with it, and again, experiment with it and see what happens. And I would love to hear back from you about any of your discoveries. If you haven't joined our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group, you're going to want to join that. We can talk about crystals on there. You can connect with the hosts from all of our shows. They're always posting something about their shows, and sometimes just wonderful messages that they get and that they know they need to share with the group. So that's another way to kind of tune in. I post a card of the day there every day, and some of the other hosts are posting like channeled messages and just really cool stuff. And Dax is always keeping us abreast of what is coming up on the network. So there's always like helpful reminders of like when a show is about to come on, or if anything changes with the times or anything like that. So that's just, if you're a listener to this show, it's a great place to stay connected to other listeners and to all the hosts and stuff. And we also have a Tarot Guild Facebook group as well. If you haven't joined that, that's a lot of fun. If you're into tarot, you can find us on Facebook, the Tarot Guild. And I think we have, let's see, time for that. Okay. Well, we'll do that next week. But we're going to be doing a lot of different things on this show. We're going to be talking about all different kinds of ways to work with crystals. We'll be talking about crystal grids. We'll be having different guests on as we go along. If you were a listener to the old show, we had some wonderful guests on. Some that I'd really like to bring back again, like Judy Hall or maybe even Diana Cooper. That would be wonderful. And if you have any suggestions for particular guests that you feel like really, have a lot of wonderful things to say about crystals that you'd like me to have on the show, then please, send me a message or post, send me a message through the Tarot Guild or post on the Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group and let me know, who you'd like me to have on. And if there is a particular crystal that you would like to focus on, and you want to know more about, you can, let me know that as well, and we'll get into that. And because, like I said, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of members of the Mineral Kingdom, we will try to focus on many of them as we can by featuring one each month. But if there's one in particular that you're really curious about, then by all means, send me a message. And let's see, what else did I had? It's so funny. I was talking with some of our callers about staying organized, and I was pretty much organized, but there's just this nagging thing that I'm like, what's the other thing? Also, wanted to talk about these readings. So as you can see today, we use the crystal dice and we use the Wheel of Fortune and stuff. And, we also use crystal cards as well. So the Wheel of Fortune allows me to kind of still incorporate tarot with the show, but it's really not going to be the type of reading that I'm doing usually. Okay, so usually on this show it is going to be crystal readings because we had that caller that called in and is like, is this a reading show? Can I get a reading? So, yeah, challenge it, see what happens. Ask whatever question you would ask for any other type of reading, and we'll see if we can address it using the crystal dice. This is a method that I've been working on for a while, and I thought, what better way than, using it for, air for our callers to see, what kind of answers, we can really get from it and, really put it through its paces. So I really am so grateful for everyone who called in today asking for a reading. That's really gave me a chance to, work the system, so to speak. And also, if you called in for a reading, I would love to hear back from you, later on, months from now, if you called in about a move, call into the show after you move and let's hear how it went so we can kind of see, like, what things, came out in the reading that kind of ended up happening. That really helps a lot, that kind of feedback when somebody's developing a divination system, okay? So, again, we're just about out of time for today. I want to thank everybody who called in. I want to thank everybody in the chat room for tuning in today. And, well, we do have I'll check here real quick. We have a question in the chat room from Renee Rose. I'd love to hear what the crystal dice set is. Did you create numbered dice per stone? Is this literal dice or a crystal card or a virtual dice shake? Oh, wow. I didn't even really think about the idea of a virtual dice shake. No, Renee, these are actual dice. And there's a few different people that make these sets. There's not a lot of them out there, and they're used for different things. But these are like your basic six-sided dice, and each one is made out of a different type of crystal. The set I'm using today, there's a black obsidian, there's an amethyst, there's a tiger eye, a red jasper, a rose quartz, a clear quartz, and a green aventurine stone. I do have another set as well that trying to think what stones it is. Like some of those same crystals are used in that. I think yellow jasper's in that set as well as gold stone. Yeah, that's what. I think those are the only ones that are different. Oh, red jasper isn't in that one, so I don't know. I'll have to think. I'm just using like the one set right now. But yeah, they're six-sided dice, like real physical dice, and I just roll the dice. I do have crystal cards that I use as well, like the card of the day that I was talking about that I posted on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. That was from what is it called? The Crystal Reading Cards, which is an oracle card set. The theme of it is crystals. Every card has a depiction of a crystal, a photograph with an illustration around it, and then like a keyword. Like today's card was pray night, and the keyword was trust, and the message was more of an expansion of that. But yeah, so I'll be using crystal dice and crystal cards as well to do the readings on this show. And again, this incredibly cool little tool, the Wheel of Fortune, the Rota, Tarot Rota, because tarot is an anagram of Rota, which means wheel in Italian, that I got from Giordano Berti from Rinascimento, a company in Italy. It just, that actually is like you just spin the wheel. It's like I don't know, it's this really cool little tool. What I'm going to have to do is this. I'm going to have to do like a video and post it in the Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group to kind of show you guys what I'm doing, so you can see, the dice roll and the wheel spin and realize, like, I'm just having fun like I'm in Vegas over here. Anyway, thanks for the question, Reedy. I know that was like, a really long answer, but yeah, I need to make a short video and so you guys can see what I'm physically doing, because it is radio, right? You have to describe everything. Oh, well. Anyways, thanks everybody again for tuning in and for your questions, whether they were in the chat room or whether you called in live on the air. I thank you so much. You made this really such a fun premiere for me today. And remember to tune in tomorrow on Sunday to Magic Universe with Sharona Rapsick. I'm her guest on that show. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm doing a press tour. Anyways, I hope that everybody has an absolutely fabulous, fabulous weekend. And one thing I need to mention that I should have mentioned, but I'll mention it now, is that the intro and outro music for the show has been graciously provided by Indo Smoke. You can check him out on SoundCloud, INDOSMOKE. He's my little boy. He's not so little anymore. But he's awesome, and he let his old mom have some music to play around with to use for her show. So shout out to Indo Smoke. Find him on SoundCloud. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow and next Saturday and next month. Bye-bye, everybody.